What is going on, guys? My name is Lextasy. Welcome back to the channel and thank you for joining me once again. This is episode number 2 of our series of flipping a $350 Copart Audi into a $200,000 Lamborghini. And every vehicle we purchase has to come from Copart or IAI. It has to have some sort of either cosmetic or mechanical damage, and the whole point is to show you guys that you can do it yourself. I don't have a dealer's license, but in the previous video I kind of went over step by step what it takes and how to do it, how to get into Copart, how to buy your first vehicle, how to make sure you buy the right one, and check the Carfax and check the history and check the pictures and make sure that you're not about to get duped in any way. But in this episode we're actually going to go ahead and start fixing this Audi. We have most of the parts, I would say about 80% of the parts here, and ready to replace this suspension that's completely beat up. Luckily for us, I just did a video on an S4 2013 which has pretty much the same suspension as this. So I already know what I'm doing and it should be a lot easier to replace it. And at the end of this video I will go over the pricing and how much it costs to do everything, because by that point hopefully we have the whole car done, running and driving and registered and ready to be sold and flipped into the next one. So we don't play this game of doing 14 episodes for one build. We try to do as quick as possible and move on to the next one, because I have an addiction of buying cars. So this definitely feeds it, and we're gonna have fun and you guys are gonna learn a lot. So without further ado, let's go ahead and jump into this and let's start taking this front end apart. Now, for the people that are just joining this channel and this is the very first video you've ever seen, welcome. But I do highly recommend that you go watch the first video of this series, because, well, we go over this whole car. We actually found out that it does run and drive, which it said on the listing anyways, but we made sure it did. There's no leaks. The front end is actually in perfect condition from what we can tell. Even the reinforcement, the radiator support did not get touched. Most of the damage is here on the passenger side suspension, and quite honestly the frame looks good too. Nothing really moved on the chassis or the A-pillar or anything like that, so the damage is minimal from what I can tell. But today we're going to find out in detail how much damage we actually have, and hopefully the parts that we have coming in and the parts that we already have laying here and behind our R8 over there in the back should be enough to suffice and to replace and fix this car and get it running, because I do needed to get it off the trailer. It's been sitting for a few days now and it's time to make this thing run. I'm excited to see what a 2.0 turbo sounds like and drives like. It is a front-wheel drive car, 2009 Audi A4 Premium Plus with 180,000 miles if I'm not mistaken, and we got it for literally $350. Even the interior is in really good condition for leather seats. It's not cracked or ripped or anything like that, so we are excited to get on the road. But the first step, of course, like I said, we have to take all this stuff off, and to get to it we definitely need to pop the hood. But the biggest plus of this damage that I see here, I kind of compared it to the driver's side to make sure that nothing when it comes to the suspension moved, like the strut tower and the brace and the bolts did not move in any way or break off or snap off, which is a plus, because I can tell that even though the damage was taken by the suspension, it didn't rip anything, it didn't move anything. The crazy thing on Audis, and I think most German cars these days, radiator support is plastic. It's super brittle, usually cracks with just any sort of stress on it, but this one is in perfect condition, which means the inner fender liner, or whatever you want to call it, the frame itself on the passenger side also didn't move, or else it would have broke the radiator support. So that tells us this thing should be completely flat. And actually once we put the hood down, well, you can't tell on this side because the fender, but on this side you can tell the lines are perfect, the body lines are good, everything matches up. So I am excited to just get this bad boy going. So first things first, we're going to take the strap off, obviously, because it's in the way, and then we're going to jack up the wheel, take this beat up fender off so it doesn't cause any more damage to our A-pillar or the hood itself. Alrighty guys, moment of truth. Out of here, get this fender out, and oh my god, look how clean that is. Guys, take a look at that. Look, there's no damage here whatsoever. All the panels look good. It's just a little bent here, but that's nothing we can't bend out. Maybe it's actually supposed to be, no, I think it's supposed to be bent out a little bit. Wiring is untouched. Going down here, the whole apron is just, it's completely, dude, there's no damage whatsoever. The only thing that got touched was by the wheel, and it just did slight damage here where it kind of pushed it, but that's about it. And what I love about Audis, yes, it's a pain in the butt to do the struts, but look at that massive just bracket up there, man. That support up top, man, that cap or whatever you want to call it, super big, man. There's literally no damage. The brunt of the damage is on the spindle, is on the strut itself, which we got those parts. We're going to be replacing them. They're right there. Guys, we got extremely lucky on this. Well, I mean, I wouldn't say lucky, because we obviously looked at the photos, and if you paid attention to the previous video, you would see that we did a lot of research and we made sure that we took the least amount of risk as possible, because we did not look at this, guys. It was 5 hours away. There's no reason for me to drive out there just just to look at this car, so I had to make sure that my decision was the right one. And like I said, I checked Carfax, I checked the photos to the best of my abilities, and we came out good. Two important things I wanted to mention, guys, while we're doing this rebuild and while we do this whole series, or if you watch my channel period, please make sure that safety comes first, right? You gotta know that you're working with cars that have damages on them, metal that's exposed. I mean, this right here can gash somebody real easy if you're not paying attention. And there's 2 bolts on this side, on the door side, that you have to get to, or actually 3 bolts if I'm not mistaken. You have to reach from the inside, so you can really gash yourself if you don't do it correctly. But that's number 1. Number 2, make sure that you pull every piece out of every vehicle. Like, even if for a part like this, it seems like, oh, you know, it's probably, I don't need it, but this plastic piece right here just kind of sits on the inside of the fender and covers up the bolts. 100% guarantee that's probably 80 bucks at Audi, just the way it goes. This bracket, unfortunately, I don't think is usable for the headlight. Yes, it is, but we should have a new one anyway, so we are good to go. See, even that right there, most people just throw this fender out and thinking, oh, we're good, we're just going to buy a new one. Yeah, a new one will come in like if you just get one from eBay or somewhere else, but then this right here is going to cost you another 20-25 bucks, and everything adds up. On the car itself was $350, and you're trying to get a budget below 2K out the door, painted and running and registered and everything like that. When it comes to this wheel and tire, wheel is good, it's a little curb rash, but nothing we can't get fixed or patched up here a little bit just from the accident itself. Looks like I got dragged on some dirt or rocks. I was really hoping this tire is good, but we do have a gash right here, and being that this is a driver's side tire, I definitely don't want to mess with the sidewall. God, that is probably like $100 tire, especially Yokohama, so that's going to add on to the bill. But this headlight, yeah, it's just literally laying there because the bracket's broken off. So I bet you, yeah, look at that, nothing's even holding this. It's just plugged in and that's it. So we'll take this off, we'll take the bracket itself, the headlight bracket, which is also just held up with like 1 more bolt if I'm not mistaken, somewhere right above here. So we'll take this off. Look at that, no damage on the radiator. This is like, dude, if you're talking about hitting a jackpot with fixing a car, you can't go any better than this. All right, guys, so it's actually the next day. I ran out of daylight yesterday, so back at it right now. Literally, we are down to just the axle hub here. Literally just 1 bolt or nut, whatever, holding it all together. As you can tell, strut is loose. There's nothing holding it there. That's loose at the bottom. The control arms are loose, upper, lower, everything is done. Obviously, the rotor's off, which is a brand new rotor, so that's a plus. And literally, as soon as we get the axle, this bad boy is just going to drop completely out of here, and then we will be ready to drop the strut and then put the new, well, slash old ones back on. And we got it off. Look at this thing, guys. There is the spindle. As you can tell, that piece right there completely busted off. The cool thing about the new one is the upper control arms are already attached. It's actually bolted in, so I don't need to replace that bolt. Lower control arms are in here as well, which I will need to replace these because ours are not bent, not from what it looks like. So I don't think I have to mess with them. So we just got to take these off, slap everything and put it in reverse, pretty much exactly how we did it, just the other way. Ladies and gentlemen, it is the moment of truth. So as you can tell, it did get dark outside. Luckily, we got some lighting out here, so everything is assembled. Axle nut, everything is tightened, all the suspension is new, everything lines up as well, which is a big plus. I made the tie rod as even as I could. I compared it to the previous one and how close it was and how screwed in it was, so the measurements should be decent. We obviously will need an alignment at some point as well. All right, guys, and the last step is to put this wheel and tire on, which I went ahead and went to the tire shop and got a brand new wheel. Ours just had a small gash in it, but I didn't want to take a chance, especially being on the steer. So I got a brand new tire on here, actually from used tire, but it's got just as much tread as the previous one did. And let's just go ahead and see if it actually fits on here, man. Think about all the damage we had, and now it's all fixed. So now it's all about just lining up the holes. The crazy thing is it took literally just a day's worth of work, and we got it done. And we are golden, guys. Look at that. Look at that. Just a little bit of work and we're good, guys. She's rolling. She's ready to go. It is the next day, and as you can tell, we did get the car off the trailer, so it does run and drive on its own, which is a big plus. As you can tell, the wheel for somewhat sits about even. Looks like the toe needs to be adjusted a little bit, so we will get alignment done on this thing. But the suspension, as you can tell, is done and looking good. Everything's sitting tight. Now here is the best part. I was able to pick up the same paint match color door and fender off of another car from a junkyard. Did Didn't cost me much whatsoever. Keep in mind, every panel that you have to repaint or paint, it costs about $300 with labor and paint itself. So if you were to think about it, if we had to repaint both parts, that's $600 extra on a car that cost us 350 bucks. So it definitely wasn't worth it. So I did some research. Car-par.com is an amazing website. I use it all the time. That's where all the junkyards list their parts, and I was able to pick up these, and as you can tell, perfect condition, no dings, dents, just a little bit of old mold on there that we can wash off. But the only difference I'm seeing on the inside, even the interior is the same color. It's that light gray or tannish leather. Guys, so as you can tell, our new door, but with our old panel. So I went ahead, not only did I replace or swap out this wood grain piece, but the whole plastic door panel itself, because honestly it was 5 bolts, man. So I was like, why not? I got the clips, everything worked. It's like hex screws in there, 2 in here, 1, 2 in there, and then 1 underneath. Super easy to do, because as you can tell on this one, even though the door panel was good on the outside, interior, this thing is all like faded and dirty and nasty. Look at this right there. I was like, man, why just mess with replacing this little metal piece here? Why not just go ahead and replace the whole door panel? Like I said, it was like 15 minutes, man. It was super quick and painless. Now when it comes to rebuilding cars, guys, there's a lot of people that don't understand how this works and how you can actually make a lot of money back. This right here, I can easily just throw this, put it in the back of the truck and say, hey, you know what, it's done. This is beat up door panel, there's nothing left in here. But honestly, believe it or not, just like we're looking for parts, so are other people. So like these right here, the door handle itself with the lock and lock buttons, and then this right here as well, the handle with the window opener and closure, this is just as important to somebody that's looking for it. Now obviously the door panel itself is junk, but you can still pull these motors out. This is the electrical motor for the window. This looks like an airbag sensor as well. I mean, all this is worth a lot of money. This is a computer. As you know, Audi likes to put a lot of computers in these things, so why not pull these off? And I'm pretty sure right here alone you got about $100 just laying here, and that's how you make a lot of money back. Ladies and gentlemen, as you can tell, our 2009 Audi A4 with 180,000 miles is completely finished and done, and we are actually ready to get this bad boy on the road. Just take a look at this and see how clean this bad boy came out. Now as you can tell, it's still got a little bit of the moldy stuff on here. We do need a full detail, but we got it completely assembled. The fender, the liner, we got the bumper on, the headlight, everything works. As you can tell, no check engine lights on, no codes at all is on. The motor sounds good. It's not smoking, it's not doing anything. I checked the oil level already. We are good. So basically we're ready to roll, guys. We can just hop in here and oh man, it feels so warm in here, dude. I'm telling you, everything works. Let's crank this bad boy up. Oh, that's volume. Let's see, we're on auto. Let's turn the temperature up to 72 degrees. Funny thing is, it also got satellite radio still, so somebody hasn't turned that off, but we're gonna turn that off so we don't get in trouble. Everything works in this car, guys. If I'm not mistaken, let me see, does the sunroof work? Yes it does. Yes it does, man. Wow, guys, literally everything works. Now I haven't tried the heated seats yet, so I'm going to turn that on, and we're off, guys. We are doing about 45, almost 50 miles an hour. Obviously steering wheel's a little bit crooked because we need an alignment still, since we did a bunch of suspension work, but I gotta say, no vibrations, no sounds. Even though it's a CVT, it sounds really good. It drives very well. We do have 187,000 miles on this thing, and this right there is a sticker for Apex Tuning, and it says next service due like 189,000. Apex Tuning is a really good shop out of, like, I think somewhere in the eastern part of North Carolina. I've heard good things about them, so the fact that this oil change is up to date is a big thing, but we're obviously going to do one anyways. But I gotta say, I mean, we're doing, let's get up to like 60 and see how she feels. She feels really good. We got a little bit of traffic we're dealing with, but besides that, guys, car feels really stable. I'm not feeling anything. I'm not hearing any sounds. Honestly, for a $350 car, man, we did pretty well, if I do say so myself. All right, so I'm recording this in some pouring rain, but you know what? I had to do it, guys. I had to admire our work. This literally took maybe a week and a half, maybe less than that, and we are already on the road. We're driving this bad boy, a $350 Audi. This is the before, this is the after. Look at the difference. Now, excuse the mold, guys. I mean, obviously you can tell that it comes off pretty easily, so this stuff right here will be able to wash off and it's going to look spotless. And I can say we officially can take this little sticker off because, well, it's not really, oh god, we're about to get smacked with the wipers. I did not think this through. Wait for it. Here they come, or not. It is no, I was gonna say it is officially, nope, there it goes. Haha, it's like James Bond. We are officially not driving a Copart car anymore, guys, because this thing is ready for the road. So this little sticker didn't come off. Brand new tires all around, so we got lucky there as well. The interior is actually in really good condition, man. Like, honestly, for this leather, this is just from the bumper laying on there, but it just needs a good detail to get all this nasty stuff off, and we'll have a really nice car for ourselves. Ladies and gentlemen, our little 5-mile, maybe 10-mile journey is over. And now it's time to talk about the most important part, and that is, well, how much did it cost us to fix a 2009 Audi A4 with 180,000 miles? Now, I'm going to be completely transparent with you guys. My goal was to get a car fixed for roughly around $2,000, be able to flip it to about $4,000 to $5,000, take that $5,000 and turn it to $10,000 to $15,000, and then from that point on, it's gravy, because 15 turns into 30, 30 turns into, well, $60,000 to $80,000. So that part is super easy. But this is the toughest part, and that is to get started with a cheap car, because you don't know what you're buying unless you're out there looking. But to drive 5 hours one way to go and check out a $300 or $1,000 car and see if you're going to buy it or not, it's worth it, don't get me wrong, but it just takes a lot of time. So I did as much research as I could, and if you didn't see the previous video, definitely watch it, because I go over how you start this process, how you get the Copart account number, how do you pay for it, how do you go pick it up, and then of course, how do you make sure you make the right decision, which is the most important part. In this case, we made it definitely a good decision, because this sucker runs super smooth. It is an Audi after all, even though it's got 187,000 miles. I'm not worried about it, and I truly think we'll get about $400 to $4,500 for it. So it's time to talk about the most important part. Ooh, this car actually feels good. It's warm on this one. So this car, literally, I was a second bidder on there after 3 bids. Nobody else bid on it. I think they were all scared because from the way the suspension looked, obviously it even scared me, because, well, sight unseen. I've dealt with the S4 that we just fixed as well. It's a B8.5, but it's literally the same body, same chassis, so super easy. And I knew that that stuff in there would look very familiar, like the way it's all bent in there. It looks like it's damaged frame, because I don't know why they molded it, the inner fender liner and all that stuff in there that way, but I knew it wasn't a big deal. So when I got it, I knew there was no frame damage, but I think that's what really scared people that did look at it, or they've seen, well, 187,000 mile Audi, probably a junker. But in this case, 15 pages worth of Carfax of history of maintenance, not just, you know, history of it being sold, but maintenance done by the previous owner. The $350 purchase, after all the gate fees and the virtual bidding fees and the transport fees and everything like that, which I went and picked it up myself, we spent $628 to get this car here to our garage to be able to start working on it. The parts themselves, which on the way back, I always try to make the best of every trip, so I stopped at a junkyard which had an A4, a black A4 already in stock. That dude said, hey man, have at it. I'm actually trying to clear out my junkyard. I got the headlight, the front bumper, the intercooler, the headlight bracket, and the suspension part as much as I could, like the upper control arms and stuff like that. That cost me $225. Crazy part is I didn't realize that the headlight that I picked up was actually an LED headlight that they had, or HID headlight, instead of the halogen that I needed. So I ended up having to go get another headlight, which was $125. But that headlight that I picked up from there is a $300 headlight. So I have it posted on eBay. Pretty sure I could sell it for $225, $250 easy and recoup my money and then some. So basically that headlight will cover all the parts that I bought, like the bumper and everything else. Next thing that I picked up was the strut and the spindle, which was $150. Passenger door and fender, which I got from the junkyard where I picked up the second headlight, which is this one here, was $350 plus $125 for the headlight. Inner tie rods, the used tire, which our tire was brand new but had a little bit of the sidewall chipped in it. Wheel is fine, but the chip, I just don't want to drive it, especially being on the steer tire. And then the second thing was to paint the bumper. To paint the bumper, like I told you guys, this is the most expensive part when you're doing a rebuild on the car, in my opinion, because every panel usually costs between $250 to $300. So you need to manage that into your build and the budget that you have set up for it, especially if you're not doing it yourself. Excuse the rain, guys. All of a sudden it just decided to pour, and it's insane. So it kind of probably is a little bit loud in there, but I'm going to continue on. So the paint the bumper was $300. Dealer fee, which of course is what I have to pay my buddy for using his account, was $200. Registration, so I am going to register this car, obviously put it in my name and get instant title, so I should have that. It's going to be about $160 plus North Carolina state inspection. And the out the door balance is $2,100 for a $4,500 to $5,500 Audi. That's not bad. That is not bad at all. I am excited. We literally spent 50% of the value of the car fixed, and now it's going to be on the road, and we can sell it for $4 grand easily. I'm going to try to get $4,500 out of it, and if I do, that's a big chunk of change for us, because next car, instead of being a $350 car, we can buy it for about $2 grand or $3,000 out the door, and leaves us another $1,500 to fix the next one. So that's how you do it, guys. I really truly hope you enjoyed us rebuilding this very first car. If you did, drop a like, drop a comment, subscribe to follow along with this rebuild, because it's going to get more expensive, a lot more cooler. I really want to get some high-end stuff, especially like Hellcats and things like that, because, well, you can find parts dirt cheap for those. Thank you guys so much for watching. Enjoy your lives, enjoy your cars. No matter how old they are, they can still be pretty cool. And I will see you guys in the next video.